Yeah. Today's agenda is that we'll be discussing about cyber security, how cyber attacks are, how are cyber attacks caused and their classification. So my name is Purushottam Naiduvi, and as Anjan sir has already introduced, so we'll move on to the next agenda. So this is the list of agenda for today's session. So initially we'll be discussing what is cyber attack, how are they, uh, caused by these attackers. So next we move on to cyber threats. So different types of cyber attacks. Then we move on to cyber security. So we'll just discuss briefly about what cyber security is and what are the protocols that needs to be followed in order to be cyber secure. So what is the CIA triad? We'll be discussing about that. Steps to fix a cyber crime, and then steps to prevent cyber attack. Like how do you prevent it, and what are the measures that needs to be taken once you're a victim of a cyber attack. So organization involved in cybersecurity, a few organizations which come under the government of India and also under the state government, will be discussing about few. And then, yeah, today's first topic is what is cyber attack. So cyber attack is basically an attack or a criminal activity that a cyber criminal or a hacker, you may call him as an hacker. So he tries to steal or alter or destroy any data or any sensitive information that is available. It may be your own system. He may hack into your system. He may alter the data, or he may also disable few critical functions. So these are the factors that affect, so come under cyber attack. So whenever your data is altered by any means or any illegal means, whenever sensitive or important functionalities are disabled by the attacker, if any of your components or any of your electronic gadgets are destroyed by the attacker, or steals the information by illegal means by intruding into your system. So this is another gaining information, nothing but this is caused by an insider attack. This is where a person works for an organization, but doesn't follow any of the protocols that the organization has asked him to do, and then he intrudes into that. He uses the particular what to say, the credentials given by the organization, and he leaks the data to the outside world. For it may be a competitive company to the particular organization, and so on. So so when your data is exposed to the outside world, any related to your sensitive information, anything related to your reputation. So if anything, any of these factors are affected, then you're basically under a cyber threat. So cyber threats are, these are different types of cyber attacks. First, we'll talk about malware attacks. As the name already indicates, that this is malicious software. So basically, these are a piece of code you may for a bad intent, like just to destroy a particular gadget, or bring down a piece of code which performs. Uh, like it's for destroying a particular, it may be related to your sensitive information, gathering sensitive information, or installing keyloggers. It is a piece of software which automatically gets installed to your laptop whenever you download a link. So these are piece of softwares which are not for genuine purpose. So phishing attacks are caused basically when these are email attacks, which these emails are like, it seems to be like it's from a genuine source. For example, if you consider like Google sending you, uh, for example, Google sends you a mail stating that you are under, your credentials are accessed by another person, or someone takes over your account. So it is just like creating a genuine mail and indicating that you are under a cyber threat. So you just try to click on that link, and basically any malicious software can automatically get downloaded. So whenever you click that particular link, it redirects you to another site, which is not exactly the genuine site of Google or Amazon or any other companies. So basically, phishing attacks are basically So these are sent like it seems like a genuine email, but it's for bad intent. So password attacks are basically what an attacker tries to do is that here he tries to apply some techniques such as brute force technique or dictionary techniques, or he may also just guess your particular username or password, try to access your account based on trial and error basis. So basically in password attacks, what one needs to keep in mind is to use best practices or use a two-way authentication system so that you keep your account secure. So this is distributed denial of service attacks. So basically it's in two variants actually. One is denial of service and one more is distributed denial of service. Basically denial of service attack means that a particular network is blocked from usage. Like the network may have a bandwidth that is meant for just critical purposes like monitoring what to say medical equipments or for any critical operations. So what a basically attacker tries to do is that he floods unnecessary traffic in that particular network, or a particular you may call like he occupies the entire bandwidth and does not allow a genuine person to use that particular path and try to access sensitive data which is meant for his operations. So basically DOS attacks is caused by a single system, where a single system is used to generate traffic and block that particular network path from being usage. So distributed denial of service means that the attacker uses different number of systems, like it may be more than 10 systems or more than 20, so that huge traffic will be generated so that the particular network can be blocked. So nowadays what the servers are capable of handling huge traffic. So basically it may be impossible for the attacker to attack that particular target using a single system. So he makes use of different systems and tries to attack that particular target from blocking the genuine person from using his particular resources. So basically man in the middle attack. So this is basically you'll face when you're transacting online. For example, man in the middle attack, that is a hacker sits in between you and a particular bank server. He tries to act like a proxy server. Basically the traffic will be passing through the hacker and then reaching the bank server, so that your sensitive data will be out of sight, and the hacker can use your sensitive data and proceed towards malicious activity. So best practices, like you use strict and very good cyber security equipments, or you follow best practices so that you just secure your network from being accessed by an attacker. So drive-by downloads, this is basically like it may be anything like link which contains malicious content, like it may download some unwanted software designed for to target a particular system or bring down the whole infrastructure. And then it is basically this it is basically like it downloads malware to your machine so that it performs malicious activity. So mal-advertising means whenever you're browsing online, so some websites pop up these advertise ads. Few ads are like infected with the viruses, or it redirects you to the particular website where this attacker might have designed, and he might have uploaded these piece of codes which performs these like it gets downloaded to your system, and then malfunctions, like it does not behave like what you wanted to want your system to behave. So this maladvertising is nothing but these advertisements which are infected with malicious data or code. So rogue software is nothing but these softwares look like genuine softwares, like many APKs or many applications you may find on the internet are modified by these attackers, like they embed malicious code into it so that it looks very genuine and people try to download it, and then basically they become a victim of an attack. So SQL injection is nothing but uh, these attackers try to intrude into a particular database, try to delete or modify what data which is for which bring down name of an organization, or these are two types of attacks. Okay, one is web-based attack and one is system attack. So web-based attack means so whenever a user tries to log in using a username and password, there these some types of codes which bypasses the security checks, and then gets into or a hacker tries to log into a particular user account. So advanced persistent threat. This is another type of threat where no huge damage is caused, but here APT threats are like a intruder remains unnoticed for some period of time. Like he intrudes into a particular system but does not reveal himself that, and does not cause huge damage to the system. Initially, he'll be trying to collecting information from the particular server or database for future attack. So it becomes noticed after some period of time. Social engineering is nothing but these types of attacks are caused by psychological, these people use their psychological intelligence and try to acquire few people and then pose an attack on them. So basically there are three types of social engineering attacks. One is phishing attack, another one is spear phishing attack, and whaling attack. Basically phishing attack is like a fisherman placing a net and capturing a number of fishes. So basically phishing attack is they try to send spoofed emails or these fake emails to a set of people or a group of people, where some people may also become a victim. Like they are not aware of the cyber security measures, and then what they do is that they just, without even analyzing the particular mail, they just click on that link, and then a code gets downloaded to their system, and their system gets damaged, or they may lose sensitive information and it gets out of their site. And spear phishing attacks nothing but individual is attacked, so they target only a particular individual, either to collect a sensitive data, or just to for financial gains. They just try to attack. This is individual attack. So whaling at phishing attack is nothing but these cyber criminals, they target a big organization, very like it may be, for example, they may target like Adobe, Google, Amazon, some MNCs. So their main intention is to bring down the name of their MNCs, and then so they lose business for some time. So these are another list of cyber threats, or so additional types of cyber attacks. So phishing attack is nothing but these are like whenever you're using your mobile phone, you get some updates, like it's released by it's an Android update or something like that. So you need to verify whether it's genuine or not. For example, there was a recent attack where the users got a pop-up message, seems to be like a genuine, but it was an entire OS which was manipulated by these attackers. So they might have included a malicious code which where the mobile becomes like they can almost control your mobile remotely. They can switch on your location, they can switch on your Bluetooth, they can turn on a disable, or many features. They can also, it's like virtually controlling your phone from anywhere in the world. So phishing attack is nothing but voice over the telephone. Like people contact you, maybe they may fake you, like they're calling from a genuine banks, or it may be from your banks. They might have collected your data from anywhere, and then they give a call to you. So that they suppose their idea is like they call 10 people and at least 5 becomes their victims, and then they can gain sensitive information and make money out of it. So it's better to avoid all these these phone calls, so that, and or block them as spam calls, so that you don't get back there, or just it's better to neglect them. so that you be safe. So smishing attack is nothing but SMS attacks, where few it might be delivered by some online e-commerce website. So it may contain these links, which actually redirects you when you click on that to a particular hacker. He might have sent it like he might have designed the SMS in such a way that it looks like it's sent from a genuine person or a genuine organization, but it's not actually. So it redirects you to the particular website, and then you're a victim of a cyber attack. So, and this is bluejacking. So whenever you're using Bluetooth or for any file transfers, so it's better you just switch it off or disable it, and or keep it in non-discoverable mode, so that these hackers or nearby hackers don't try to upload some code onto your devices, and then and make your device zombie, so that they can control your device from anywhere where they are. So keyloggers are piece of software which actually records all that you have entered with each keystroke. It records each keystroke, so that once it records everything, it sends periodically to these attackers who has managed to install this particular piece of software onto your device. So this is basically a log file which keeps track of all the username, passwords, or maybe any sensitive information, and sends it to these attackers, so that they can log into your particular account, and then you'll be under financial loss. So spywares are nothing but these are piece of software which are installed by these attackers or cyber criminals, so that they have a spy. They can also turn on your webcam. They can listen to all your conversation, and so on. So viruses and worms. Viruses are piece of softwares which it's for some malicious intent, or it's developed by an intruder, so that he bypasses all these security concerns, and then grab your sensitive data. Worms are nothing but these are also like viruses, but they replicate themselves over the network, or wherever the system they are in, wherever they are like they replicate themselves and multiply, so that they reach to different hosts, and then you are under a threat. So Trojan horses are for so they are like viruses. So they are for some bad intent. So they contain so codes which are developed by these hackers for some either to as usual to get sensitive information, or to put you under threat. So logic bombs, these are uh, viruses which are triggered only when a particular event has occurred. So there are a couple of virus cyber attacks in the past years, but two most popular things are, one is WannaCry virus and another one is Stuxnet. WannaCry virus are attacked the people who are running Windows systems. So few licenses were expired, or few versions were out of date. So this is a particular worm which gets infected to your system, and encrypts your own data, and then ask you to pay a ransom, so that it decrypts the data. Ransom is nothing but a huge amount. It may be in terms of cryptocurrencies or in terms of Bitcoin. They ask you to pay in terms of Bitcoin, because the servers are actually decentralized, so that it becomes unnoticed, like who is a actual cyber criminal. So Stuxnet is another the after WannaCry virus, Stuxnet is not another dangerous virus which affected the Iran's nuclear power plant, and this sits on the logic controllers of the system, and basically sends false information that the entire system is running smoothly in a correct way. So basically, types of hackers. So there are three main types of hackers. So there are very other few, but these three types of hackers are most popular. So black hat hacker, gray hat hacker, and white hat hacker. So basically, black hat hackers are nothing but they are so they try to steal sensitive information by illegal means. They try to gather sensitive information, or they try to gather your credentials so that they can intrude into your system, or inject they try to inject malicious code into your system, or any means they try to bring down your whole system, and then uh, so that they can acquire your system and gather sensitive information, or they can also blackmail you for amount. So gray hat hackers are basically like they act as both black hat hacker as well as white hat hacker. So they are basically like you may call them as an insider attacker, because they function sometimes like a black hat hacker. They gains so whenever this so for example, when you consider an employee who works for a company, so he knows all in and outs of the company. He has the credentials of that particular company. Whenever he leaves the company for any reasons, so because he might have a grudge on the anyone, so he may pose an attack, or he may steal sensitive information and expose it to the outside world, so that the particular organization is under threat. So white hat hackers are basically these cyber security experts who function, who are employed by an organization to monitor their how well their infrastructure is secure. And they basically use tools which are used by the black hat hackers, and then try to apply the same methods and procedures, and try to have the main intention that to find backdoors, or backdoors are nothing but some flaws in the security aspects, so that they can try and intrude into your system and find security flaws where the fix needs to be applied. So what are the different motives behind cyber crimes? So these are the set of motives. One, it may be for information threat and manipulating data. Your data may be manipulated or deleted or modified by these cyber criminals. So one is to acquire sensitive data, or manipulate data or delete the data. So one more attack is to create fear and chaos by disrupting the critical infrastructure. So basically nowadays this now medical facilities are almost becoming digital. So basically some sensitive or you may call it as some mission critical systems are very important for a system to function 24/7, so that it's secure. So disrupting that particular infrastructure might cause a big chaos, or it may cause fear in the organization, so that they are under threat. So financial loss to the target. Basically, once a cyber attack is posed, basically the company may lose many sensitive data, or they may they may become down financially. So basically, the upon cyber attack, the cyber criminal may also demand for a ransom, so that their data gets decrypted from their side. But the thing is that they pose an attack either see we have a list of cyber attacks different why are cyber attacks caused. One is the main intent is to have a personal grievance on someone else, and the rest is for either to gain financial finance from the other organization, or it may be to attack become famous like a hacker, or it may also be caused by an insider who is working for a company and tries to bring down the name of that company. So achieving state military objectives, basically these attacks are caused to spy into the military systems of the particular nation and try to see what they are up to, and try to pose an attack uh, or steal their sensitive information. So demanding ransom, as I already discussed about WannaCry virus. So these type of viruses are installed onto a particular system where it encrypts the data and tries to ask you for a huge amount, so that it may be decrypted from the hacker side. So demanding reputation of the target, damaging reputation of the target. So basically a company may be functioning very good. So whenever you pose a cyber threat, or if a company is under cyber threat, or a hacker poses a cyber attack on the particular company, it basically brings down the names of the company. They may lose huge number of customers, or they may use, basically it's like spoiling their business. So propagating religious or political beliefs, so this is caused in limited, this is a limited attack, but it's always like uh, uh, an organization may also employ a particular hacker, or to spy on a particular who a company who is in competition with the current company. So propagating it's also defacing the websites, and spreading religious beliefs, and also for political benefits as well. So disrupting business continuity, it may cyber threat, a cyber attack may also be motivated to disrupt the business continuity, because some organizations they hire these cyber attackers, so that their competitive a company which is in competition with them doesn't function properly, and then they disrupt the business. So basically we had studied about different types of cyber attacks, and how they can be posed, how to pose a cyber threat. So and what are the different types of attacks. So how do we be aware of that a cyber attack has occurred at our end, and how to be cyber secure. So cyber security is the protection of the interconnected systems, including you may hardware, or your laptops, or your systems, or including your mobile devices, from data breaches, and then uh, protecting yourself from these cyber attacks. So information security is a subset of cyber security. Basically cyber security and information security are used interchangeably. So basically so whenever a company gives you access to a data center, so only the particular person who has the access card, or who has the permission to access the data center only can do so. But there be a physical a security who allows a particular person who is allowed to enter that particular room. So basically just like a physical security who manages all these things physically, cyber security is a protocols that needs to be followed in order to prevent yourself from cyber attacks. So information security is designed in such a way to maintain the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. So these are the three triads which comes under cyber security. So if anyone is violated, so basically you're under cyber threat. So what are the advantages of cyber security? Why do you require cyber security? So basically, it basically protects your business. When you follow all these best practices, industry practices of how to be cyber secure, basically you're protecting your business, and there is an increased productivity. So how much ever the attacker tries to hack into a particular system, if you equip yourself with all these best practices, and with good security softwares to monitor and protect you, so basically you won't be under cyber threat, and basically increases your productivity, and then you gain customers confidence. So whenever a customer uh, you know uh, has confidence in you, then only you will try to increase your business, and basically in return you will be financially good. So these are the two more advantages of cybersecurity are, whenever you are hosted your website on a platform. So basically, if you are following good practices, or basically these websites are developed not only for be functional and to be responsive. These are also developed to for example, if a hacker tries to hack into a particular website, also it doesn't allow him to intrude into that particular website by injecting malicious code into it, or it may be it's another type of SQL injection. So it stops your website from crashing. So you when you adopt these cybersecurity protocols, you basically protect your consumers from these cyber threats. And whenever the consumer is satisfied, you will have more business in your hand and you can generate revenue. So basically, what is the CIA triad? So CIA stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Basically, these are the three pillars which governs this cyber security. And any one breach in a single factor may affect your cyber security. And there is you come to a conclusion that you are under cyber threat. So confidentiality, whenever it's basically keeping your data private, so that you follow some privacy rules, and then it's shared only to intended users who has the credentials, whom you permit to access that particular server using credentials shared to a genuine employee. So basically, it's maintaining your data private, and then giving access to only those who are intended to use. So integrity is nothing but keeping your data protected, and data from a loss, or protected from data breaches. So basically, this is integrity is also checked when data is transmitted from a source to destination, and then no data is altered in between or no data is lost in between. So these are done using some hashing techniques, or checking it for checking the data and matching the checksum. So availability is nothing but, for example, you keep the data, your site available, or you keep the system or resources available only for that particular intended users. For example, if you're using Google services or Amazon Web Services, it's always available to users who are intended for to use their services. So it's always available. There's no restriction that it will be available only for certain hours and then be shut down. So basically, these are the three pillars that governs the cybersecurity. So how is CIA affected? So what are the threats to CIA? Whenever an attack is caused because by using a computer, or by using a network device, or by using a particular network and flooding it with traffic, basically confidentiality, integrity, and availability are under threat. So so basically, to pose a cyber attack, the attacker needs to have knowledge on computers, uses simple tools, but the damage caused is a huge. It may also lead to catastrophic failure. So basically, the attacker tries to intrude into a particular system, steals sensitive data, and to generate profit out of it. So basically, by injecting ransomware, so that it demands for a huge amount, so that the attacker tries to generate profit out of it. So basically, when your device is damaged, or data is stolen from your particular device, so basically you're under cyber threat. So basically, uh, uh, few viruses have the ability to get into your system, but then they are intended only to target a particular hardware device, or bring down the system. For example, a virus may be designed to damage your CD drive, or damage your hard disk, encrypt your hard drive, so that it asks you to pay for it and then decrypt it. So whenever you're under cyber threat, what do you do? So steps to fix a cyber crime: identify, analyze, and evaluate and treat. So identification of what is currently going on in your firm or organization. What type of viruses have affected? How many systems are affected? Like, what are the measures you take in order to identify these? What are the best practices you uh, follow in order to identify that particular threat which has occurred? So analyze and evaluate. Analyze who are affected, then evaluate how many systems are affected, how many resources are damaged, and what is the treatment that you give upon analysis. So treatment in the sense, following the best practices, like having a backup data. So backing up your data is very important, because whenever your data is lost by these cyber threats, you may back it up from a particular site where your data is safe. So factors affecting these three steps, like identify, analyze and evaluate, and treat. So vulnerability, threat, risk. Risk is equal to vulnerability into threat. Vulnerability is nothing but these credentials, for example, may be given to a particular person who is genuine and for intended person. So how secure is your device? So are all the best protocols or security protocols implemented so that it protects a device from some virus attacks? Or how secure is your device? Like who all have access to your device, who all has access to your device? And then the some organizations, they give access to their employees to their it may be VPN access, or it may be accessing to a particular server. So what usually happens is they do not delete these accounts whenever it's given to a particular an employee, and the employee leaves the firm. The necessary step practices should be that they just disable the account, so that the particular employee has no access to it, or it may not leak to the outside world, and then attacker poses an attack to the particular server, and causes huge damage. So a threat is nothing but the resources which are under a threat. Okay, we had already discussed, right? So based on all these attacks, like how do we keep them away? Like what resources are under a threat? So risk is nothing but it's a combination of vulnerability and threat. Whenever vulnerability rises, it basically the risk also rises. So any one factor, keeping it low is very important, like monitoring the system regularly, and then finding ways to repair the system in order to keep it safe and secure. So risk is a factor which is a governs both vulnerability and threat. So these are the steps to prevent cyber attacks. For example, how do you secure a computer system? So basically follow two-way authentication system. So nowadays Google has come up with two-way authentication system, where before it was not like that. Whenever you entered username and password, it used to allow you to log into that particular account, and then so look into your mails, or deal with the online platform. But now you can opt for this two-way authentication system, where you need upon entering the username and password, it pops up a message to your mobile, so that is it you actually who's trying to log in, or log into that particular account. If you click yes, then it's obviously it gets into the account. If you click no, then it it does not allow you to enter into that particular or access the account. So securing your passwords is a best practice, because you using a combination of alphanumeric characters, or using along with special characters, is highly recommended. And securing your passwords in a combination of all these characters will, it may be difficult for the attacker to guess your password and try to get into your system. So regular updates. So basically you you allow for automatic updates. It may be a patch for Windows, or it may be updates for your antivirus. So basically based on the virus attacks going on into the world in this current era, so the particular organization may send an automatic patch, but it's highly recommended that you set it to automatic updates, so that it updates it on behalf of you. You need not monitor the updates regularly. So antivirus. So installing a genuine antiviruses, and by not downloading it from any unsecure websites, it may seem like these antiviruses are like protecting, but if you download it, if you download, suppose it may some antiviruses, should download it from a genuine website. So it's highly recommended that you use a secure site, so that you can download it without anyone's intrusion in between. So antivirus basically protects you from these malicious code which may enter into your system and disables or deletes it so that your system may be secure. So firewalls are basically piece of software which is uh, installed for Windows. It comes already along with the OS, but you may install a firewall onto other systems or platforms in order to, this piece of software. Firewall is a piece of software which monitors the packets entering and leaving a particular network or a system, so that if any huge traffic is generated, so it blocks that particular traffic from entering into the network. So it basically acts like a barrier between your private network and your and the public network. So no phishing, like you stay away from these phishing emails. So it may be like a spoofed email from it may seem to be generated, or it may seem to have come from a genuine website. uh, so you try to uh, become cyber secure by creating awareness in you, and by checking whether you may also try to figure out from that particular email sent whether it's from a genuine site, or whether it's from a genuine organization, or whether it is sent by an attacker. So cryptography, yeah, encrypting and decrypting your message on the fly. Like you encrypt your message, send it to a particular destination, and then uh, so that the it's secure, and then no one tries to, in case if they get your data, they may not be able to decrypt your message until and unless you share the key with them. So securing DNS, domain name server is a server which maps along with the IP addresses. Basically, when you enter google.com, it basically tries to reach this domain names server, and then basically computer only understands IP format. So it basically maps your google.com with the equivalent IP address, and then takes you to that particular server where you can surf online. So securing your DNS, not to bring down the DNS. Some cyber attacks may also cause post on this DNS, so that these domain names and along with a set of IP addresses may be manipulated or deleted, so that people are affected from affected online, and it affects in turn affects their business. So physical security or countermeasures. So basically, these are set of uh, key measures that one needs to keep in mind before they are using these online platforms. So regularly back up your data. Backing up your data is keeping your data safe in a site where no cyber attacks can happen. Or backing up a data, it may be, if your data is less, then back it up to a storage device and keep it safe. Or if it is huge, keep it on a server where you believe in it. I mean, like, back up your data in a secure site where best practices are followed, so that your data cannot be leaked to the outside world. So post on social media. So whenever you're posting anything on social media, uh, keep in mind that you're exposing yourself or exposing sensitive information to the outside world. So whenever you're posting something on WhatsApp, like people keep posting birthday wishes, or keep posting many things, like they're off to somewhere, like off to Chennai or off to Mysore, something like that. So this is not like online attack, but it may be someone among your contacts who are in who monitor your activities. So basically, if you post some sensitive information which may lead to your damage, then basically it's basically, if you're posting messages like off to somewhere, so they need not monitor your location, because you're delivering live location from your post. So by the time you just reach your house will be looted actually. So basically, you just keep yourself aware of all these things, so that you parallelly learn as well as be cyber secure. I mean, like, you be aware, you create awareness among your parents, or you create awareness among your friends, or whoever is posting sensitive information. whenever you post something related to your birthday or something related to your sensitive data, which may be sensitive, your friend might have you know set a password based on the birthdays, like it may be like year or date or something like that. So the username will be exposed, the password will be exposed, and you will be basically exposing sensitive data. So following best practices and creating awareness among people is the most important thing. So then only we'll be able to live in this cyber world. So modified applications, few applications or many applications like it may be like Hotstar or Amazon or any premium paid applications are available, free of cost on the internet. These modified applications are not released on particular stores, but they are uploaded to a particular website where the users can download and use it. These applications gives you full access to all premium videos, but it's highly recommended not to use these applications because nothing is available free on this internet. One thing is that companies make use of you and make money, or you pay to their services. Nothing is free actually. So basically these modified applications are developed in order for people to install it, and then basically the attacker tries to access gain access over your entire system. It may be a modified application, or to your Android system, or it may be your to your smartphone, or it may be a rogue software that you it seems like a genuine software. You try to install it on your particular machine, and then your machine basically acts like a zombie system, and then the attacker can remotely has control over your system. So Bluetooth is another wireless technology which you basically use it for your data transfers, or nowadays you can use it for your wireless earpods or something like that. And then making it always discoverable and turning on the Bluetooth always is also dangerous, because these attackers or hackers try to install these Bluetooth antennas onto their systems, where it constantly monitors and tries to scan for available Bluetooth devices, so that they can inject some malicious code into the other device and tries to steal sensitive data from there. It may be contact information, maybe photos, files, sensitive data related to your organization, and so on. So Wi-Fi or hotspot, it's highly recommended not to use open Wi-Fi's. Maybe it may be you may find it in any railway station or any organization where the Wi-Fi access is open, because these are key spots where the attacker has entire access and then tries to include more and more worms or viruses into that particular network. And whenever you try to connect to that particular network, the attacker may also intrude into your particular system, because whenever the Wi-Fi is open, there is no protocols where it can encrypt and decrypt the message from the source to destination, because the network is not secure enough so that they can your sensitive information is seen to the outside world. So SMS with links. So basically, whenever you receive SMS, it may also seem to come from a genuine site, and it may also have some links where the people may think it's from a genuine web organization. They try to click on this particular link, and malicious code will get downloaded without your notice. I mean, you may not notice that it has downloaded, but everything happens in the background. These are executed with the help of scripts. Like one, everything is embedded into the scripts. Like scripts, for example, the code gets downloaded to your system, executes it on its behalf, and then your system may not function as you had expected to. So pen drives, USB cables, etc. All these storage devices. For example, you may find a pen drive on the road when you're passing by, or you may find a pen drive which is lost. I mean, it's not actually lost by someone, or it because these are intended for intended purpose. So it may also contain some sensitive, some some malicious software which is already uh, uploaded to these pen drives, or whenever the user injects this particular drives into their particular system. So basically, without a notice, viruses may spread or worms may spread from one system to another, and basically people will be under huge threat. So USB cables, sometimes these USB cables may seem like they are just cables for data transmission, but uh, chips will be enabled, embedded in this particular USB cables, which are actually pen drives, but people may think that they can just use it, but just disposing it, all these gadgets you'll be cyber secure, and actually you can protect yourself from huge damage. So spam calls are basically phishing attacks where people try contacting you that they're from a genuine organization. They try to contact you. Uh, they have they just motivate you that you have gained some lottery tickets, or you are your your bank account is under threat or something like that, and they try to ask for your sensitive information, like it may be your pins, uh, it may be your credit card numbers, or it may be your bank account numbers, and so on. So revealing all this particular information is highly sensitive, and then if you reveal it, then your entire your account will be under threat, and you'll be under financial loss. So neglecting these calls will you may be at least secure enough, so that you also create awareness in others, so that they will also follow all these physical security measures and be cyber secure. So who is actually a cyber security expert? Basically, a cyber security expert is an individual who is employed by an organization to protect their data from unauthorized access. So basically, there are three important tasks which a cyber security expert needs to follow on day-to-day basis, and it's highly their business is almost dependent on these experts in their physical day-to-day activities. Like they use the tools which a cyber attacker uses to intrude into a particular system, like finding the weaknesses in the particular system, or finding backdoors where they actually are the security protocols intact, or is there any weakness in the network, is there any data breach, is there any uh, credentials which are too weak for someone to guess and then enter into the system. So these are the things which a cybersecurity expert needs to follow in finding the weaknesses in the particular infrastructure. So monitoring systems, basically monitoring systems is nothing but installing or following all these measures, like installing best cyber security tools which monitors the entire system. So installing the latest patch, or monitoring who is actually logging into the system, who are the current users, and is any outsider logged in and using the particular system. All these activities are highly critical for a cyber security to follow. So network breach. So sometimes what happens is, upon installation of these firewalls or any security tools, uh, uh, because we are living in a cyber world, like each and every minute we may witness cyber attack. So it's best practice to update your virus definitions, or set it to automatic, so that it downloads on your behalf, and then try to scan your system and keep it secure. So network breaches are another type of role which a cybersecurity expert needs to monitor. For example, it may also cybersecurity expert may need to monitor the denial of service attacks, or whether it's a distributed denial of service attack, or is any huge traffic coming towards their passing through their servers, something like that, so that they may block that particular traffic, and take security measures in order to keep their organization and infrastructure safe and secure. So basically, this is Indian Information Technology Act of 2000 and 2008. It's basically introduced in to for e-commerce, and then for information technology. It includes all the practices and violations which are enlisted for any attacker who tries to intrude into a particular system. And then these are measures which organization needs to follow in order to keep their infrastructure cyber secure. And IT Act of 2008 is the it's additional to 2000 Act. So these are amendments in order to keep the cyber space safe and secure. So basically, when you are trying to post, it includes many different IPC acts. But as of now, for this session we'll discuss a few things. Like, whenever you're posting some information, sensitive information related to someone else online, then you'll be liable for it. And then whenever you're trying to access someone's credentials, it's basically so basically all these attacks which we had followed comes under this Amendment Act of 2008. It is basically to it's basically to follow these all these protocols and keep you safe and secure. Any violations, you may just approach the investigation center and file a case against thing, and they'll be prosecuted further. So netizens, these are people who considerably spend their time on the internet. Like, it may be actively posting posting on their blogs, or it may be spending the considerable time on the internet by using various online platforms. So there are 5 P's or P mantras to keep in mind for the netizens to be cyber secure. So first one is precaution, prevention, protection, preservation, and perseverance. So it's highly recommended for a netizen to be aware of the cyber attacks that are going around the world, and then to install all the necessary antiviruses or best practice in cyber security, so that he or she will be cyber secure. Prevention, to prevent, prevention is nothing but like keeping themselves informed about these spoofing emails, or it may be spam calls or something like that. Preventing all these like, it may be someone calling from genuine organization, or it may be someone calling from some organization asking for some sensitive data. It's better to prevent all these things, so that they will transact their business online. So protecting their system with best cyber practices, so that they will be cyber secure. Preservation, preserving, for example, whenever these if a netizen is under threat, it's better to preserve the system for further investigation, so that they may be able to trace who the particular attacker is and what type of attack has been posed on a particular system. So perseverance, it is basically whenever you're trying to stay online for more number of hours, it's at your own risk, basically. So it is at the own risk of a netizen to be always online, and then to follow all these cyber security principles in order to be safe. So some of the organizations that are involved in cyber security are these are Indian organizations. So one is the Department of Electronics and Information Technology, or DETI, under the Ministry of Communications and IT, Government of India. Apart from their own best practices, they follow the best practices. Apart from delivering services to the government, they also monitor the major security attacks that are going on into this world, and then they make a report of all these attacks, and then they create awareness in people regarding these cyber threats and how to be away from these. So Data Security Council of India is promoting data protection. It is set up by the NASSCOM initiative, that is National Association for Software Services Company, which is both these organizations are not for profit actually. NASSCOM initiative is to promote e-commerce, and then to promote the BPO industries and to set up many startups in India. The DSCI is set up by this NASSCOM. It's a NASSCOM initiative which studies and prepares reports, and then they follow industry standards of how to be cyber secure, and what are the best practices, and then necessary steps to take in order to be cyber secure. So National Information Board, this is another board where they follow these industry standards, and it's chaired by National Security Advisory Board. So they also perform the same activities as it comes under the Department of Electronics and Information Technology. So this is another organization. So it is Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. So whenever you're under a cyber threat or attacker has already attacked, so this is a response team which instantly you can take the help from this team, so that they try to figure out what actually is going on in your infrastructure. So Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC. We already know that CDAC has it's actually Indian supercomputer. So basically, not only they deal with R&D activities, not only deal with cutting edge technology, but also they nowadays they concentrate on this cyber security as a domain, so that they create follow industry best practices of how to be cyber secure, and they create prepare reports, and they create awareness people, like what is exactly the necessary steps in order to be safe and secure, and how to live in this digital era. So basically that's the end of the session.